Hi, it's Zeffie Nicholas, CSU, Burlington, Ontario. What is educational leadership? Educational leadership refers to leadership in schools. Simply, this means getting all the teachers, staff, parents and students involved in achieving the educational goals of the school, the system. If we take the word education out of the question and talk about what leadership is, we can decontextualise the meaning and offer broader and deeper responses. Then we can look at different contexts through this lens. Leadership, or to lead, comes from an Old English word meaning take with one. Simplistically, leadership has been defined as the process of influencing others to achieve mutually agreed upon purposes. Definitions are far more complex now. However, the intent is similar. Leadership is complex. It is about relationships, it is about influence, it is about facilitation, it is about resourcing, it is about time, it is about communication, it is about collaboration, it is about decision making, it's about change, and it's about transformation. Leadership is a change process. It is a social process. It is purposeful. It is about everyone sharing mutual purposes. It is about moral imperatives. When viewed this way, leadership is dynamic and requires a range of emotional, social and intellectual skills. It is about developing people. It is about continuous learning. We have leaders everywhere. They are our teachers, our students, our parents, our community.
Hi, this is Cam Fraser, and I'm here to talk about what is educational leadership. I believe good educational leadership is everyone's responsibility. Educational leaders enable learning for themselves and for others. Educational leaders shift their stance away from lead knower to lead learner, meaning I lead because I know how to learn. Educational leaders need to embrace a growth mindset and encourage others to do the same. They need to promote a culture in which risk-taking and learning from mistakes are normal behaviors, where innovation is celebrated, not challenged or disregarded. John Hattie discusses the impact of educational leadership and whether teachers stay in a school or not. His research describes the importance of the leader's stance in the school. It is the leader's motivation of teachers and students, identifying and articulating high expectations for all, consulting with staff before making decisions that affect them, fostering communication, allocating resources, developing organizational structures to support learning, and the regular review of data that is important. Learning leadership is a powerful incentive.
My name is Linda Charco, and I'd like to talk about educational leadership. To me, the important piece about educational leadership is knowing who you are learning with. And 4 thoughts come to mind. You have to be collaborative, you have to be a listener, you have to build information, and you have to move to action. So what is the action that your group is moving towards? An educational leader is able to do that.
This is Paige from Ontario, and in terms of educational leadership, I can see some real tie-ins with the professional development through digitization, because I do see as an educational leader the opportunity to be able to push and challenge, as I was saying earlier, about what are some ways that we can utilize the technology available to be able to expand beyond the known context of educational leadership. And I think that that's the challenge for us as we are moving forward.
It's interesting to listen to the definition that Zeffie provided, because educational leadership today is almost not leading. It's so much learning, it's so much steering from the back of the boat. To me, educational leadership is about developing self and others. And the self part is just as important as the others. So it's developing with others, for others, being developed by others, and as Linda said, moving to action. And I think that when it's self and others, that moving to action is a piece that comes along more easily because it's collaborative.
Right, Will, let's hear from CSU Ontario. I think it might be generative to think about this concept of educational leadership in the plural rather than just in the singular. So I'd propose that when we think about it in the plural or in the multiple educational leaderships, that foregrounds the notion, as others have mentioned, that it's a social, cultural, and also historically located practice. I think it gives us access to kind of interrogate those things about leaderships. I think it also thwarts a simple view that it's positional, so it depends upon the position that you're in, and we've heard from lots of other people, that students as leaders, community members as leaders, again going against traditional views of just teachers or even not teachers, just administrators as leaders. And I also think it allows us to move away from the notion of a definition or the definition to realize that there are multiple definitions that are much more complex and nuanced than any single definition can give us. That's it.
Hi there, it's Chioney from Sturt University in Burlington. What is education leadership? One of the things I've learned these past 3 years, for me, I've understood that educational leadership is about humility. And educational leadership, I found, is actually talking to colleagues and just being immersed in this environment, is actually educational leaders are our children. And if we actually respect their rights, that's what we work and we teach about. It's about the children. They are our leaders and they're our aspirations, and we always want to do the best for them and help the children, inspire us to creative means. That's it.
It's Callahan from Sturt University in Burlington. I think educational leadership has a lot to do with creating a context where we can take risks and be uncertain. I think that's something that we don't always associate with leadership. We feel that we have to be sure in order to lead. But we're asking people to take risks because we look for leadership in times of change. So if we're going to be changing, we have periods of uncertainty. So if we're also, as leaders, willing to be uncertain, to acknowledge that we're rethinking things, I think it then helps everyone to just kind of let their shoulders down, put their toe in the water, and go.